Hi everyone, I am Jill E. Cabrera, BSEd English 2. For this video, I am going to discuss about the story entitled Sometimes When Shadows Walk Ahead by Amadeo M. Mendoza. This discussion includes the story's point of view, theme or themes, conflict, and etc. Also, I am going to relate the story's plot and structure with that of J. Neil Garcia's translation and the problem of realism in the Philippine literature in English. The story springs up with a two-paragraph statement that talked about its main emphasis where the narrator and someone named Cecilia met and bond with each other in the street near the boulevard. Then, it is followed by the introduction of the story in which the narrator speaks about his life and how his father trained as well as disciplined him harshly. With this, I have noticed that the story's plot twist revolves around giving a glimpse of the ending before stating how it begins. Realism in this sense can be taken as genre, in which according to J. Neil Garcia, this genre sacrifices plot for the sake of character, whose psychological complexity this mode of writing seeks to faithfully represent. That's why upon reading, I feel confused with the arrangement of details as well as how the happenings in the story are organized. It has a purpose of bringing the readers to the character's journey by freely narrating the happenings but still putting confusion to the reader's minds in a sense of using complex words with complex meanings. Upon thinking about the difficult words that I have encountered in the story, I was able to reflect on one of the characteristics of realism proposed by Garcia, the so-called refusal to embellish or prettify reality. This actually is true. I suppose the essence of creativity and complexity with the particular story's plot is the way the writer uses techniques in conveying a story through composition without degrading the sense of mystery. This is what I have noticed in Amadeo Mendoza's way of structuring his story Sometimes When Shadows Walk Ahead. The story is well presented and very touching, but the funny side of my experience upon reading it is encountering such complex words that made me sad even more because I don't even understand those words. Some of the words that I have found confusing are 30-ish, 50-ish, nemesis, mole, accost, hobnobbed, psychedelic, jittery, and denizens. As I searched the meaning of these words, I found out that these are informal words and are often used. I think this is also implying the problem of realism in the Philippine English literature, because some writers tend to use informal words in their writings which may affect the entire story that their writing is trying to convey. There are lines that caught my attention while reading the story because of its repetition. This is when the narrator asks Cecilia about her father. It goes this way. "How about you? Tell me about your father," I said to Cecilia. She seemed lost, like an unsolved chemical equation. "My father? Well, he committed suicide." "Oh, I'm sorry for asking you that." "It's okay. Happened a long time ago." "My father? Well, he's dead. Committed suicide." "Oh, I'm sorry." "It's okay, Jim. It happened a long time ago." When I noticed about these lines, I felt so much confusion with Cecilia's psychological condition. How come she already said that line and repeated it without the narrator asking about her father for the second time? I think what happened to her father affected her the most and gives her so much pain that made her difficulty of moving on. With this, I remember when Garcia stated in his piece that literary realism draws from psychological science, operationalizing its insights into human behavior, motivation, and emotions, which it attempts to render in all their complexity. The story is told in a first-person point of view in which the writer or narrator relates information from their own perspective. Now, the problem here is that when we talk about realism, according to Garcia, if the narrator or writer uses first-person point of view, it means to prove himself to be far from reliable. In order to further remove the viewer from the story's exterior happenings, realist stories are frequently placed within larger narratives. This convoluted narrative logic aims to further mimic reality, which is by nature challenging, unsolvable, and ever-changing. Based on my understanding, the story revolves with the themes of unconditional love, sad reality, and the essence of time we spent with one another before death exists along the way. There is unconditional love formed between the narrator and Cecilia because despite of their different sad experiences in life, they get to bond and stayed with each other at the end. It also conveys sad reality in the aspect of being left alone in the dark. We cannot deny the fact that sometimes someone came to our lives out of nowhere and eventually leaves at the end of the day. It's sad, but it's reality we need to accept. This is where the essence of time we spend with someone matters the most. It is important to cherish the moments we have with the people we love and give as much time as we can before time flies so that we won't have any regret in the end. Although I had difficulties in dealing with the story's plot and I am not certain with my interpretation, but I was able to learn important points from the story, especially with its connection to realism. I have learned that there are things to consider in applying realism to a particular work. With this, I have realized that the story Sometimes When Shadows Walk Ahead is not accurately pertaining to reality, and one of the reasons is its point of view, which is first person. Moreover, the story is convincing and there are instances that we can definitely refer or relate to real-life situations. I have to admit that even if I don't fully understand or get the essence of the story, I was able to reflect on it. Also, I almost cried as I was reflecting on it, especially upon knowing the sad ending. Overall, it was a good piece.